Hey everybody, I'm back with another vlog. Um, it's holiday time, and I thought it'd be a good time to talk about the roller coaster of emotions that people may experience during the holidays. So, for a lot of people, it's a happy time. Christmas and Hanukkah come in. People are doing their shopping. They're going to parties. They're having family over. New Year's. Some people might make plans for New Year's. They may go on vacation for the week if they're off. And it's a time where we really get to come together. That when that Thanksgiving to New Year's time is a celebratory time for a lot of people. And but for others, it might be a difficult and a very stressful time because the holidays can often bring up sadness, depression. Uh, you might have experienced loss recently, of a family member or a friend, and maybe the holidays, just quite frankly, they might suck for you because you may not be able to celebrate the way everyone else does because it reminds you maybe of difficult times, or like I said, dealing with like someone that you cared about, a loved one who might have passed on, and maybe it happened during the holidays, or it just brings up a lot of memories that you're holding on to, and now times have changed, and maybe at one point you had a big family and everybody celebrated, and they had a big Christmas gathering or Hanukkah gathering, but now people have moved on. Maybe they moved. Maybe people have passed on, and your circle is smaller, and it's not the same. And I guess with these emotions, one of the things that a lot of people do during the holidays is that they eat, and they sometimes overeat, and it's a common thing. Even if you're being health conscious and you're trying to count your calories, the holidays time, like I said, there's parties. You might get invited to things. Uh, there's more celebratory food available. You got your hams, you got your turkey, your stuffing, your mashed potatoes, and the desserts and alcohol, and you throw all that in. And between Thanksgiving, if you celebrate Hanukkah or Christmas, and then New Year's, it could add up. And a lot of times people find themselves gaining weight over the holidays, and then New Year's comes and it's okay, time to start the New Year's resolution. But one of the things I want you to think about is what might be causing you to maybe overeat or eat more than usual. And people will eat out of emotion. Sometimes to celebrate because they're happy and everyone's having a good time. You're like, let's go eat. And sometimes it's to comfort and to kind of numb whatever pain or emotions you're going through. And other times it just becomes your habit. Like you're not even realizing, but this is what you kind of do, and you don't even think about it. And we have to remember that food really is for nutrition. It's to give us energy so that we can accomplish the tasks that we have. But the reality is, it's holiday time, and we're gonna want to splurge and have things. So I guess one of the things that I want you to think about is how can you balance it out so that you're not putting on 10 pounds, 5 pounds, 8 pounds during the holidays. If not, maybe you gain a pound or two, or maybe you kind of level off, or better yet, you might even lose a few. So here's some ways to balance it. Number one, find time to exercise. Uh, if you know you're gonna have, like, for Thanksgiving, I knew I was going to have certain things, so I ran and exercised before the meal, just the earlier that day, just to get to burn off some calories, and to you know just to keep that routine that I had going with my exercise. So one of the things you do is try to find time to exercise, even if it's a walk, or you're lifting weights, or you're going for a run or a jog or whatever. But make time to exercise before the meal, and maybe take a little bit of a walk after. And if you make time to exercise, it can offset some of the extra calories that you're putting in. So you might just even out, or you may only maybe gain just a little bit, but you're not just eating, and you're not burning any of that off. So find some time to get the exercise in. That's very important. Plan what you will eat. So think about, if you know you're going to a party and there's going to be certain foods there, maybe try to plan your meals. Especially if you go to a holiday party, let's say at a restaurant, and there's a menu ahead of time, you can look at the menu and kind of plan out what you're going to have ahead of time, so you can prepare yourself and kind of portion out what food you will eat. Make choices about the kinds of food you'll eat. So maybe you don't have mac and cheese stuffing and potatoes. Maybe you have one of those, or you have two smaller portions of two of them that equates to one portion. Um, and then with desserts, which is a hard thing for a lot of people, maybe you just pick one dessert. Or if you're going to have two, smaller portions of the two. So there's ways to enjoy some of the foods that you would like to try without overindulging. Um, because if you're eating to the point where you're like you're like super full, that's too much. So not to say you shouldn't have any of it, just portion it out. And if you kind of think of it that way, you're not cheating yourself out of anything, and you're not getting to enjoy or to have some of the things that you might not normally have, but you're just trying to be conscious of how much food you're taking in. Eat slowly. Um, I often find when there's a lot of food, especially like big celebrations, take a little, take your time eating it, talk to people while you're eating, and before you know it, you might be full after 20 minutes, because it takes your body that long for your brain to register how much food you've taken in. So try to eat slower. So one, you get to enjoy the meal, and two, you can kind of gauge if you've had enough already. Um, I mentioned smaller portions, and then, uh, like I said, uh, you have to know, like, maybe limit how much drinks you're having that have calories in it. So maybe you drink more water, or maybe you have stuff with less sugar in it. If you're gonna have an alcohol drink, have one, but maybe you don't have three. So it's all about finding that balance. But if you're exercising and you're like the day after, maybe you go for a big run or a jog, or you do an extended walk and exercise, and that'll help offset some of the calories you're taking in. And if you know that this is a hard time and you're struggling, find some ways to deal with maybe some of the stressors or some of the pain that you're feeling. So it's good to talk to a friend, or if need be, find a professional to talk to. Deal with the emotion so that you can find healthier ways to deal with, to combat it. Because, like I said, the holidays isn't a cheery time for everybody. And if you celebrate with food because that's what you're used to, or you say that's part of your culture, or this is what we do, there's nothing wrong with having the food that you're having. Find small portions, but then also celebrate in another way. Maybe go to the mall and walk around and window shop, or maybe find something active to do with your friends, or go bowling, um, or maybe you, like I said, plan like a small little like getaway where you're moving around and doing things, but it's not centered around food all the time. And I think if you combat it that way, the holiday time won't be a time where you're always putting on, let's say, 10 pounds. sometimes even more than that. And you're dealing with your emotions and how you look at food. And I think if you're able to recognize what the triggers are or what gets you started, then you'll know how to deal with it. Like so for me, for the holidays, I don't drink soda anymore. That's out. So no matter what's going on, that's not in my diet. And I had one dessert, like a regular dessert. It was an apple pie. It was really good for our Thanksgiving. And I remember telling Stephanie, I said, we cannot bring this home because I'm going to eat it because it was really good, and I haven't had that much sugar in a while, so I could feel myself like, oh, I want more of this. And be aware of that because especially when you have leftovers, choose your leftovers. Like if you notice certain foods that's a trigger for you, you know you're gonna eat too much of it, don't bring those home. Or bring a little bit of it and that's it. But if you bring a bunch of it home and you say, oh, I'm going to freeze it up and put it away, it's too tempting. So I cut a piece for Stephanie and that was for her and I didn't touch it. And the rest of it we gave to her family because there's more of them there. And it was Stephanie and I. So like if there's an apple pie there, who's going to eat it? It's going to be her or it's going to be me or both of us. And neither one of us wanted to have that in the house. So you have to make decisions and you have to be real with yourself. Like like chocolate chip cookies, I like those, so I won't buy them or keep them in the house. Or if I know I go to a party, if I have one, that's okay. But I'm not going to take three and four and say I'm going to take them home because then it feeds into the cravings and then you want more of it. And at least I know myself. There's certain things that I crave more than others. Um, so know what those are and have a little bit of it if you're gonna have it, and then you gotta leave it. And if you know you have other health issues and you're trying to watch your sugar, and like for me, I'm always trying to watch my sugar, then there's certain things I know I really have to watch because I don't want it to become a problem. Um, but like I said, the key thing is if you're exercising, that does help a bit because it kind of will keep things in balance a little bit. So the holidays, like I said, a fun time, but like can be a stressful time. So make sure you're taking care of yourself. Make sure you're doing a lot of self care as well, um, because like I said, it can be a stressful time. It is a stressful time for many of us, and food is one of the sources of dealing with our stress that we have to be aware of. So um, I hope that you'll continue to share your comments and thoughts about this. And looking forward to hearing from you guys. And I'll be back soon with more blogs. All right. Bye now.